On March 26, 2023, neighbors in the Seven Hills area of Spring Hill, Florida, called the police to conduct a welfare check on the residents of a home on Casa Grande Circle. They were alarmed that there had been no visible activity at the house for a long time. Deputies from the Hernando County Sheriff's Office responded to the call and entered the home. In the master bedroom, the officers found clear signs of a struggle. In the adjoining bathroom lay the body of an elderly man, showing signs of violent death. The victim's name was not officially released. It is only known that he was an adult male from the immediate family circle. In local discussions, it was said that this was Christopher Amore's grandfather, but this relationship has not been officially confirmed. Continuing their search of the house, the officers found another man on the second floor, lying on a bed and unresponsive to commands. As they approached, they confirmed that he was alive and able to speak. He was taken into custody, handcuffed, and escorted out of the house. The detainee turned out to be 24-year-old Christopher Charles Amore, born in 1998. At the station, Amore was questioned by detectives. During the interview, he admitted that he had killed the man in the house. As the motive, he stated that he was tired of dealing with him, meaning he was exhausted by the constant conflicts or strained relationship with the victim. After the confession, Christopher Amore was charged with second-degree murder and was held in custody without bond. On September 25, 2025, the court found Christopher Charles Amore guilty of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to life imprisonment in the Florida State Prison System.
Christopher, how you doing? My name's Tom. Can you stand up for a second? You got some cuts on your hands, or your neck. Can you stand up?
He's been needing help to walk.
You okay? Just stand. I don't want you to go too far. Are you uneasy? Look at me for a sec. You got some cuts on your neck or something?
From Gramps.
From Gramps? Okay, we're not going to ask any questions or nothing right now. I just want to see what you got. Can you turn around for me with it? I don't want you to fall down. Did you take something today?
8 meds.
Eight?
8 meds.
Oh, okay.
Can you turn this off?
I don't want to get too personal. Did you cut your wrist? Is that something you did?
No, it's with him.
With him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else on you that you got hurt? You okay?
Yeah, just water, please.
Some water?
Yeah.
I'll get this young man to bring you a bottle back, okay? That good for right now? All right.
Here we see the very first contact, even before the formal interrogation. The detective calmly walks in, introduces himself, asks Christopher to stand up, and immediately draws attention to the cuts on his hands and neck. His task at this moment is to assess Christopher's condition. Can he stand? Is he under the influence of anything? Has he tried to harm himself? Christopher says the wounds are from his grandfather. Already in these first seconds, he is establishing a narrative. The grandfather was physically aggressive, and he himself is the victim. Then he is offered water, and medics check his condition. After that, Christopher is formally advised of his Miranda rights, and the full interrogation begins. During it, he repeatedly returns to the idea that his grandfather was physically abusive, and he builds his entire account around this theme. Against this backdrop, his further behavior and the course of the interview begin to look increasingly strange and tense.
I'm just trying to figure out what happened today or whatever, what's going on, what caused everything to happen, and what led you to be here today. So let me ask you a couple questions. Who lives in that house with you where you were at today? Who stays there?
Grandfather.
Your grandfather, and who's that?
My grandfather, Guy Amore.
Roy? Guy Amore?
Yeah.
Okay, he's your grandfather?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been living there with him?
Old.
When?
9 months old.
Did they raise you since you were a little baby?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's your grandma?
She was mold too.
Where's she at?
She was mold.
I don't hear. I don't understand.
Mold.
What's molt?
MOOT.
Moot?
Mold.
Does she live in somewhere different?
No.
Did she die?
No.
Does she live in that house?
Yeah.
Where is she? Is she on vacation?
No.
Where is she?
See, this is me.
She lives with you? What's your
Yeah.
grandmom's name?
Agnes, Agnes.
All right, and when's the last time you saw her? Has it been a long time?
No.
Okay. And where's your parents at? Are they in Florida too?
I really have to talk to them.
You don't talk to them?
Not really.
All right.
Here the detective moves on to the basic, very important questions. Who lives in the house and what Christopher's family structure is. He calmly clarifies, who lives there with you? And Christopher almost immediately names his grandfather, confirming that the grandfather essentially raised him from the age of 9 months. So it becomes clear to us, this is not some distant relative, but the main adult in his life, the person who replaced his parents. Then, things start to get strange. In response to simple questions about his grandmother and mother, Christopher gives confused, illogical answers. At one moment he says his grandmother is there too. Then he can't explain where she is. He mumbles. He can't clearly state her name. Yet we know from the facts that both his grandmother and mother died long ago. On top of that, his speech is slurred, his words trail off, and he clearly struggles to form coherent thoughts. For me as a detective, this is a crucial signal. The person in front of me appears cognitively impaired, whether from medication, shock, or some other condition. His story from this point on must be evaluated with the understanding that he cannot clearly provide even the most basic information about his own family.
What happened? What happened in your grandfather's house? Did something happen there? Because you got cuts on you. What happened?
Organization.
You had an argument with him?
Yeah.
Over what?
Just.
What caused the argument?
Us.
Just you and him? It was a personal argument between the two of you?
Yeah.
Did you guys argue in the past at all? Are you usually get along together?
We usually get along.
Okay. So what made you guys not get along? What happened? Something had to happen for you to get scratches on your arm.
Get out of the water.
Yeah, I'll have to get you one in a little bit. I don't think we have any more here. I gotta get somebody to bring some in.
Okay.
Did you are you okay? Because you seem like you're out of it. Are you drinking alcohol today at all?
I don't drink. No.
You don't drink? Oh, good. Do you take medicine for anything?
Besides Stratera.
Just Cetera? What's
Yeah.
that for?
ADHD.
ADHD?
Yeah.
Do you have any other conditions besides that?
No.
All right.
Here the detective gently approaches the core issue. What exactly happened in the grandfather's house? He asks about the cuts, and Christopher briefly admits there was an argument with his grandfather. A personal conflict just between the two of them, but he can't explain the reason and drifts into meaningless fragments. Against this background, the detective notices his shut down state and asks about alcohol or medication. Christopher says he doesn't drink and only takes medication for ADHD, with no other issues. Even at this stage, it's clear there are signs of a struggle. There was a quarrel, but the version he gives is incomplete and clearly conceals something.
Do you take any kind of narcotics? Do you smoke marijuana or anything like that? Do you do meth or cocaine or anything? Okay. So why are you the way you are? You seem like you're really something's like you're under the influence of something. What's that about? You with me?
Yeah.
Why are you the way you are right now? What happened? What, did you take something that's making you this way?
Kind of Stratera.
Just that? That's it?
Yeah.
Why does that make you this way?
Kind of Stratera, just tired.
You're just tired?
Yeah.
When's the last time you had some sleep?
Just last hour.
When?
last hour or two.
The last hour just being here?
Yeah.
So before you came here, when's the last time you had some sleep?
I was stressed.
When's that?
I was stressed.
You're stressed?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened at your house where you're at? Something bad happened there. What went on? Christopher, you with me?
Yeah.
What happened at your house?
It's an argument.
It's just an argument?
Yeah.
Well, it led to something else. How'd you get the scratches on your arm? Who did that?
Me and Gramps.
Your gramps did it? And how did you do that?
Yes.
A what?
Physically.
So he grabbed you with his hands and then made those marks on you?
Yeah.
Why did he grab you for? I know you were arguing, but why did he grab you?
To 03.
To what?
To 03.
I didn't understand what you say. What is it?
The tape of 03.
The tape of '03?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The tape.
What tape are you talking about?
Here, the detective directly checks whether Christopher is under the influence of drugs. He goes through them one by one: marijuana, meth, cocaine. But Christopher denies all of it, and when asked, "Why are you like this?" he gives vague answers: terrible, tired, stress. He again reduces everything to just an argument with his grandfather and says the scratches appeared during that conflict. But then he gets tangled up in his words and drifts into incoherent phrases. Later, it becomes known that he has Asperger's syndrome and type 1 diabetes, and it was likely blood sugar issues that made him so slowed down and disoriented during the interrogation. He looks like he's on something, even though he actually isn't. We will see this more clearly later in the video, in the jail footage where he talks to a close relative.
Because I've been abused for years, and I don't know what to do, and reading that thing made me think everyone thought I was a monster, and I didn't want it to go down like that.
I understand all of that, but like now,
I know.
I need to try to help you like right now. So I need
I'm
to
trying to get
understand,
the public defender. Yeah, sorry.
like
Continue.
who spoke to you? Has a
No one
public
spoke to
defender-
me. I haven't heard anything. Turns out when I thought I was talking to the detective, they're telling me it's an EMT. Because after everything went down, I tried to kill myself with insulin, and it's horrible. So I was going in and out. So turns out I thought I talked.
Since you've been in jail.
I've only talked to the psychologist, and they think it was me being abused over the years. That's all they've done, and they've been giving me speech therapy. That's all they're doing. I haven't talked to anyone else. Besides yesterday, I did a health evaluation, which was mostly just medical and then like history of sexual abuse and really just very minor stuff. And I brought up some of the abuse I went through. Other than that, I haven't talked to anyone. It's driving me insane here. And I can't email you half the time because they don't give me a tablet. And I have no way to contact anyone.
I know, but that, like I tried to explain to you yesterday, I mean, that's kind of where it is now. They'll do all of these evaluations and things can change, but...
I know, I'm trying to hold out. Sorry.
In this fragment of the phone call from jail, Christopher continues to center himself and his own feelings. He says that he experienced abuse for many years, that after what he read, he feels as if everyone sees him as a monster, and that he didn't want things to turn out this way. He complains that he's losing his mind in the cell, can't contact people. Psychologists talk about long-term abuse, and he's only being given speech therapy and formal evaluations. Against all this, there is almost no discussion of the actual killing or the victim. To the woman he is speaking with, this looks like a complete lack of remorse, and she says so directly. Christopher, meanwhile, reveals a critical detail. After the incident, he tried to take his own life by injecting himself with insulin, which left him drifting in and out of consciousness, confusing a medic for a detective and barely understanding what was happening. If we go back to the interrogation, his slurred speech, strange answers, and shut down state now fit the picture. A severe diabetic episode combined with traits of the autism spectrum, Asperger's syndrome, which can make it difficult for a person to read social cues and express emotions appropriately. This partly explains why he appears to lack emotion or empathy, even though the internal picture may be more complicated. But it is important to emphasize for the viewer, neither diabetes nor Asperger's absolves him of responsibility. They only help us understand how he perceives the world and why his behavior and words appear the way they do.
Yeah, like so nobody has explained to you like when a public defender will be.
No, they told me it could be the day before if I'm pleading guilty, innocent, or no contest. I don't want to spend 2 years here fighting something that I could explain easily, because I have the witnesses, I have the text logs, I called you, I called, my neighbor knows I've been trying to get out of the house. I have everyone, but they're not giving me the chance to even explain it. I've been writing down logs about everything, and I have videos, and no one listens to me, and it's killing me because it's eating me inside, not knowing if I'm trapped in here.
Christopher, listen to me. It's not that nobody will listen to you. It's just that, much like you said, you weren't able to go to those lengths. You were making attempts to get out, but you needed to do that versus what had occurred.
I'm the only one that knows what happened that night.
In this segment, Christopher continues to portray himself as an underestimated victim who is not being given a voice. He complains that he still hasn't properly seen a lawyer, doesn't understand when a public defender will be assigned, and says he doesn't want to sit for 2 years fighting over something that can be easily explained. Then he lists his supposed cards. Allegedly, there are witnesses, messages, phone calls, recordings in which he asks for help and tries to get out of the house, but no one listens to him. The woman he's speaking with gently shifts the focus to what actually matters. The problem isn't that no one listens to him, but that instead of leaving, he ended up committing murder. She tells him directly, "You're the only one who knows what happened that night." Against this background, it becomes clear how Christopher is slowly steering everything toward the only thing he sees as his chance at salvation, presenting himself not as a cold-blooded killer, but as someone who lived for years in an abusive situation, who tried to get out, but ultimately snapped.
I woke up to it being force-fed paste, kind of. Like, I woke up thinking it was a dream. Like, I remember just being in a wheelchair, like, hold up a sec, and I woke up like, this has to be a dream, and everything before it was flashbacks. Like, Todd would know what I'm talking about, like when you're, like, in the cutscene in Call of Duty and you're going in and out. It was like that. I thought it was like, I woke up the next day, it's the next day later. And when I read the report, I was like, I couldn't have been alive at 4 p.m., like, because I tried to kill myself at 8, and the amount I took would have, and what happened was early morning, and I'm trying to explain, but I wish I would have called them, but I was afraid of everything because of how Gramps was, and then how my past, so I'm trying to explain, but I don't know.
Here, Christopher begins to directly build a defense strategy around his physical and mental state. He describes everything as if it were a cutscene from Call of Duty. Fragments, flashbacks, a feeling of being in a wheelchair, then suddenly waking up and thinking it was a dream. According to him, he injected himself with a huge dose of insulin around 8 in the morning, intended to die, and was convinced that after that he simply could not have been conscious at 4 in the afternoon, when, according to the report, everything happened. What he describes really does resemble severe hypoglycemia, a diabetic blackout, when blood sugar drops so low that a person slips into a semi-fainting state. Consciousness breaks apart, speech becomes confused, memory gaps appear. Christopher uses this to build his claim that at the moment of the killing, he supposedly was not in his right mind, because after his suicide attempt he was losing control of himself. Combined with how he behaved in the interrogation room, sluggish, confused speech as if under something, this version outwardly appears plausible. And it's clear that he himself believes in this strategy very firmly and clings to it as his main chance to explain what happened.
To be on their time, right, exactly.
I know, I don't mind staying here a month or two. I don't want to fight. all the way to a court case for 2 years, and then they find out he's innocent, we just wasted his time. I don't care if they don't pay me the $1,000 a day I'm here. The money's not worth the time. I just want to be home and happy, and when you said it was anger, it wasn't anger. It wasn't anything like that, and Haley was the only person that knew, and that's why I was trying to get you to talk to her, because she knows what's been going on, and she's the only person I could think of that could, because we're still on good terms. She didn't leave me for anger, like anger. It was me and her fighting each other, like arguing, like a toxic relationship, not just some situation that's minor. It's a major situation with major allegations against Gramps and major allegations against me, and they can't play it risky at this point. They don't know if I'm faking or I'm being serious, and they can't risk it. It's a public safety, and I know that. I understand that fully, and I don't mind. I don't mind, and I know my life. I know how, you know how hectic and crazy my life gets. I don't mind sitting here. My life is crazy. That one time I went to the gas station, remember? Next thing you know, I'm caught up in a police chase because a guy's running from Pasco and Hernando at the new Circle K. Remember my life. I know how to deal with the thing. I feel like, in the end, everyone's going to disregard the evidence and just say, guilty, you're a murderer, when I'm not.
In this fragment, Christopher continues shaping his narrative. He doesn't so much discuss the fact of the killing itself as he talks about how unfairly he is being held. He complains that he doesn't want to wait years for a trial, insists that he has witnesses, messages, videos that will prove his innocence, and that all of this can be easily explained if he is simply given the chance. As his key witness, he names Haley, the only person, he says, who truly knew what was happening at home and who knew that his grandfather was allegedly the aggressor. At the same time, he paradoxically acknowledges the seriousness of the situation. He says this is a big case with serious charges against both him and his grandfather, and that the system cannot take risks. It doesn't know whether he is faking anything or not, and it has to think about safety. But in the end, he returns to his usual victim stance. His life has always been chaotic. He knows how to live with that. Yet he is certain that in the end, everyone will simply ignore the evidence and label him a murderer, even though he does not see himself that way.
Say that, what does that mean?
Like, this whole, dealing with them.
Dealing with him is hard to do? Or he's hard to deal with you?
I kind of guess both.
You guys got a little bit back and forth?
Yeah.
Okay. When did this start? When did you have this argument? Do you know what today is? What day today is? Is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday? Do you know?
Saturday.
Today is Sunday.
Sunday.
Yesterday was Saturday.
Okay.
So did you have a fight today, Sunday, or yesterday, Saturday, or even before that?
Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday you had an argument with him?
Yeah.
Okay. And was he saying anything to you? Did he say anything to you, or what was he arguing about with you? What did he tell you?
I just wanted to be Sunday.
You just wanted to be Sunday?
Yeah.
All right. Well, today is Sunday.
Okay.
All right. So when he was arguing with you, what was he arguing about? Do you remember why he was angry at you? You don't remember? Is that what you told me? You don't remember? Okay. Can you stay awake for me? I
Yeah.
know you're tired. The other guy's gonna get you some more water. But I need you to help me out here because I gotta understand what happened at your house. Because I'm really not sure what happened. So you were there and you can tell me what happened.
Here, the detective tries to anchor the conversation in at least some specifics. He clarifies what Christopher meant when he said it was hard to deal with him, and Christopher admits it was hard for both of them. Their relationship had long since become mutually irritating. The investigator then tries to tie the conflict to a timeline. He asks what day it is when the argument started. Christopher gets confused even about the dates, wavering between Saturday and Sunday, repeating that he wanted it to already be Sunday, but still can't explain what they argued about or what exactly his grandfather said. When asked directly whether he remembers what his grandfather was angry about, Christopher essentially admits he doesn't remember. In the end, the detective hits a wall. He's facing someone who claims to have had a difficult relationship with his grandfather, but is unable to coherently describe either the cause of the conflict or the chronology. This is about the limit of Christopher's clarity at this stage of the interrogation. According to Christopher's uncle, Guy Amore Jr., the situation in the Amore household really was far from peaceful. So the version about tense, conflict-ridden relations is supported not only by Christopher's words, but also by a relative. Yet even with that, he is unable to give a coherent account of the cause or the progression of the final argument.
I have nothing to do with them. Well, my mom's been bedridden for right around when COVID started. Mm-hmm. And when I first moved here in 15, I used to go there all the time, because I've been away from them for so long because I worked up in New York. But they're not, there's a lot of yelling and screaming, so when I'd go there for Sunday dinner, eventually it just started getting old, the yelling and screaming. My father yelled at my mom yelling at Christopher. It was just a circle, so I just distanced myself from it. Every once in a while I pop my head and say hello. He was going through all his problems. Grandpa threatened me, this and that, and I could show you stuff, but if you've ever, how could I explain it? My father never beat me, and I don't think he ever put a finger on this kid.
Yeah.
Could this kid get under your nerves and get you to the point, if you've ever been in a relationship with a person, girlfriend or boyfriend, to the point where you're like, you're not supposed to hit a girl, and I'm going off tangent here, but where you could get so wound up that you're not supposed to. Mm-hmm. This kid could push the buttons.
Yeah.
That's half of him. Well, he's my sister.
Christopher's uncle, Guy Amore Jr., says that there was a constantly toxic atmosphere in the Amore household. Yelling, arguments, mutual irritation, the father shouting at the mother at Christopher, everything in a loop. At some point, he simply stopped going there. One Sunday dinner was enough to hear more than enough. So, emotionally, things really were difficult in that house. But then he adds an important clarification. According to him, the grandfather never hit either him or Christopher. At the same time, the uncle admits that Christopher knew how to get on people's nerves terribly, pushing them to the point where someone might feel like snapping, but the adults still understood that they could not cross that line. His ex-girlfriend and her family share the same view, meaning several people describe the same picture. Not a tyrant grandfather and helpless grandson, but a very complex, conflict-prone young man who could provoke and pressure those around him.
Him and Grandpa had a lot of problems. I've heard Grandpa in the background screaming and hollering at him. Chris has said he's put his hands on him before. Like my Mrs. has said, we don't know.
Yeah, because you weren't there.
We weren't there.
We've never seen it.
I know.
I've never seen it.
And the thing of it is I've never even seen any of the telltale signs. I haven't seen bruising. I haven't seen marks. To me, if there's a physical struggle of any kind, you're going to have some kind of evidence eventually. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean...
And Grandma just died 6 months ago, and I don't know if Grandpa was getting sick, maybe dementia or something.
He was very aggressive as well, because when I called, because last week, my son called me, that he had called. And he goes, Mom, something's up, call Christopher, see what's going on. I said, okay. So I called Christopher and he didn't answer his phone. So because I didn't hear from Christopher, I called the house number to call me, and I spoke to you. And Russ he was not happy that we were calling. But as Barb says, he was very private. He didn't want people knowing any business. Yeah. And he would always if people knew, and it was like, I'm just calling to find out if there's something I can do if you need. And he said, no. And he was very
wanted to handle it between them and keep it between them.
No, he was literally yelling.
Okay.
He was
I
yelling
never
at that
saw
point.
him that way. When she told me that, I was a little surprised too,
Yeah.
because
And I've never seen that side of him.
right,
Okay.
yeah,
I've
not in
never
all
seen-
of these years.
Sure.
The grandma, yes,
Yes, the grandma, yes,
not
but I
him.
never saw that on the grandfather.
In this fragment, we hear not Christopher himself, but the people around him, and the picture that emerges is much more complex than his simple claim that, "My grandfather beat me." On the one hand, relatives and acquaintances confirm that there were conflicts. People heard shouting and arguments, and they knew that between Christopher and his grandfather there had long been a kind of tug of war. Christopher himself told them that his grandfather laid hands on him, but at the same time, everyone emphasizes an important detail. No one personally saw any beatings, nor did they ever notice bruises or other characteristic marks on him. If physical violence had been regular, it would be logical to expect at least some visible signs, but there were none. They also note the grandfather's personality. Rusty was very closed off and proud, didn't like airing family problems, and reacted sharply when outsiders tried to get involved in their household. After the grandmother died, he became more nervous, could snap, raise his voice on the phone, which surprised many. They hadn't seen that kind of aggression from him before. At the same time, several people, including the family of Christopher's ex-girlfriend, who spoke with both of them on the night of the killing, say the same thing. They don't believe the grandfather was truly violent, but they do see that he was at his breaking point because of the constant problems with his grandson. So the picture that emerges is this. Yes, there was a toxic, conflict-filled atmosphere in the house, but Christopher's version of systematic beatings by his grandfather remains without direct witnesses or visible evidence, making it much more a part of his defensive narrative than an established fact.
Lily's phone, she didn't answer, so then he called my phone, and I answered. And I just laid into him. I told him this was ridiculous, that he's not, self-soothing, that he's not, taking any responsibility for everything. He just keeps saying, I'm freaking out, I'm having a panic attack, and you are an adult, you have so much control over yourself type person.
Yes.
And
the same way.
he doesn't want to accept any responsibility. And so we were on the phone, I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And then we hung up, and then he calls back, and it's very muffled. And I'm like, Chris, I can't hear you. And he's like, Grandpa's at it again. And I'm like, Chris, what are you talking about? Well, then I hear him and Grandpa yelling at each other in the background. Grandpa's cussing at him, telling him to get the fuck out. Chris is going back and forth, and I made him put Grandpa on the phone. I told Grandpa, I said, you need to call the cops. I said, you need to have the Baker acted. He's like, I can't deal with this shit anymore. I said, I know. I said, but cussing at him or putting hands on him doesn't help. He's like, I don't put my hands on him. I said, okay, cussing at him does not help. He's like, I know, this is ridiculous. And then Chris is back on the phone again, and I guess he never called the cops.
Do you know what time that was?
That was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I told Chris, I said, you need to go upstairs, you need to go to bed. I can't sleep. I said, then you need to go upstairs and lay in your room. And that was the last we heard.
Here we see the last living point before the killing, and it's a very telling one. Christopher calls in a panic. I'm freaking out. I'm having an attack. But according to the woman, he takes no responsibility at all, focusing only on his own emotions. Then he calls again, and now yelling can be heard in the background. The grandfather is cursing and throwing him out of the house. Christopher snaps back. This is not a tyrant and a helpless victim. This is mutual escalation. The woman takes the phone from the grandfather and says what the adults should have done long before. Call the police. Report him. You can't handle this on your own. Rusty admits he can't take it anymore, but still doesn't call. Shame and the desire to keep it within the family win out. The time is around 2 in the morning. She tells Christopher, go upstairs, lie down in your room. He complains he can't fall asleep, and then the connection ends. And here is the final stroke. Everyone already understands that the situation is out of control, but neither the grandfather nor Christopher takes the key step. Neither steps out of the conflict, nor brings in official help.
What's your relationship like with Christopher?
I mean, it started out okay, but towards the end, we fought a lot and stuff.
What would you guys fight about?
Just random stuff. Nothing. Just random stuff.
Alright, did you find him to be
I haven't met Christopher, okay, so I'm gonna ask the question, you're gonna be like, what does this have to do with anything? But I'm trying to get a sense for the type of person that he is. Was he like controlling or jealous or? He was a little bit controlling sometimes. He would get jealous.
Okay, would that be things that you guys fought about?
Sometimes it would just be what was going on in life. Just
okay. And who would instigate the arguments?
9 times out of 10, it would be him.
It would be him? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how would the arguments end, or what would be the end result of all that?
Sometimes it would just end where we were calm and happy, and sometimes he'd leave because he was so frustrated.
Was there a resolution to anything?
Sometimes. I'm being Baker acted.
Okay.
So,
Was he Baker acted recently?
Last weekend. It would have been, what was the date?
Oh, I believe you. Okay, so last weekend, what was he Baker acted for?
It was a voluntary Baker act.
Okay, so he was having thoughts of harming himself?
It was
Or somebody else?
It was the morning that after she broke up with him that night, he went and had himself Baker acted on the 17th,
Okay.
from what we were told.
All right. So you broke up with him. What was the main reason for that?
So it was just kind of becoming a toxic relationship with all the fighting and stuff, and I'd given him a month to kind of fix himself, and we were getting close to a month and he was doing okay, but then he was starting to go backwards, and I didn't want to deal with all that fighting and stuff anymore, so I broke it off.
Here, a very important voice enters the picture. Christopher's ex-girlfriend. She describes the relationship as toxic. At first, everything was fine, but toward the end, they were constantly fighting over little things. And according to her, in 9 out of 10 cases, it was he who started the arguments. Christopher was jealous, somewhat controlling, quick-tempered, and often the one who escalated conflicts to the breaking point. Eventually, she gave him a month to get himself together. But instead of improvement, she saw him getting worse, and she ended the relationship because she was no longer willing to live in those constant fights. Immediately after the breakup, he voluntarily checked himself in under the Baker Act, a form of hospitalization used when someone poses a danger to themselves or others. So even by official standards, he was already unstable and potentially dangerous. For us, as observers, this reinforces the picture. We are dealing not just with a mistreated grandson, but with a person who has a long history of emotional breakdowns, conflict-driven behavior, and egocentric patterns.
All right, you're very stressed, and you apparently haven't had much sleep. So I'm just trying to figure out how Grandpa got hurt. If he grabbed you and you grabbed him back, I understand that. You know, was he being mean to you, or were you being mean to each other?
Being mean to each other.
Okay. And do you remember what caused you guys to be mean to each other? What happened to make that happen? Why were you not getting along well? What caused it?
Not wanting to have to kind of
Kind of what?
so I can actually overthink.
Overthink?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you good at computers?
Yeah.
What do you know about computers? Like, what do you know how to do? Because I saw a 3D printer. Is that yours?
Yeah.
What do you make with that?
It's models.
Models? What kind of stuff? Like models of what? Anything?
Yeah.
Like, what things have you made? Do you sell them, or you just make them for yourself?
I even by myself.
All right. What kind of things have you made?
It's really just.
Because they're pretty complicated machines to run.
Yeah.
So you must be pretty smart to be able to make stuff with them.
Yeah.
Did you go to college to learn how to do that, or you just learned it on your own?
Yeah, I went to college.
Did you? Pretty cool.
Here the detective changes his tactic, and it's very noticeable. First, He cautiously circles back to the core issue. Who was angry at whom? How exactly the grandfather grabbed him? And he even acknowledges that the rudeness could have come from both sides. Christopher gives the vaguest answer possible. We were angry at each other. And when he's asked to explain what the argument even started over, he again slips into unclear phrases and never provides a coherent reason. Even when the question is asked in a calm, non-pressuring way, he cannot articulate the motive for the fight. After this, the investigator abruptly shifts direction. He starts talking about computers and the 3D printer. This is a classic rapport-building move. He gives Christopher a safe topic, praises him, boosts his confidence, and tries to pull him out of his mental fog. The goal is simple: relax the subject so the detective can later return to the events in the house, once Christopher feels understood and appreciated, rather than only accused.
Yeah, he was painting the living room.
He was painting the living room? Did you
The bedroom.
The bedroom? Did you talk to him today?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you talk to him about?
Just.
What's that? Grandpa's what?
Grandpa's bedroom.
What about his bedroom?
Grandpa's.
Okay, was the neighbor supposed to come over and paint today at your house?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he come over and do that?
No.
How come?
Because of the bedroom.
Because of the bedroom?
Yeah.
Because of what happened there?
Just tired.
Because what? Who's tired?
Yeah.
I don't hear you, I'm sorry.
Because the bedroom.
Because the bedroom what? I'm just trying to figure everything out. I need your help. Can you help me out with that?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't the painter come to the house today? Because of the bedroom, but what was the matter with the bedroom?
Who's tired?
Who's tired?
Everyone.
Everyone was tired?
Yeah.
Is that what you told the neighbor not to come over today, or did you
Yeah.
did you tell him to come over and paint?
There's nothing to come over.
Not to come over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, the detective leads Christopher toward a very specific detail: the painter's visit. He asks about the neighbor who was supposed to paint the grandfather's bedroom. According to Christopher, the painter didn't come because of the bedroom, and everyone was tired. These are vague, meaningless formulations that explain nothing, but we get a fact that is critical for the investigation. At 7:45 in the morning, Christopher himself went to the painter and told him not to come because Grandpa isn't feeling well. That is very different from everyone was tired. Even in his slowed down state, he is actively managing the situation, canceling the arrival of a witness to the house and covering it with a false reason. His current phrases about the bedroom and everyone being tired do not match what he told the painter earlier that morning. This is another crack in his story, and one of the first signs of deliberate concealment of what actually happened in the grandfather's room.
He didn't.
Okay, and then what did you do when he didn't let go?
Gramps.
You what?
Gramps.
I know that, you said that, but when he didn't let go of you, what did you do? What's that?
Gramps.
Okay. Gramps, what about Gramps? So what happened? Hey, you there?
Yeah.
You gotta stay awake so I can talk to you. How did it change? Because it went from arguing to something else. He grabbed you. You told me you grabbed him on the arms. What did you do back to him?
Not to let go.
You did what?
I was told not to let go.
You were told not to let go? Who told you not to let go? Who?
My past.
Your past told you not to let go?
Yeah.
Now, when you say not let go, are you mean not let go of him from holding him? Or,
Yeah.
all right, so you were holding him too?
Yeah.
And where were you holding him at? What part of his body?
Here.
You were holding his neck?
Yeah.
Okay. At some point, did you have a knife?
No.
Do you know how he got hurt?
I will have a threat.
What's that?
I will have a
Did you hit him with anything?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
This is the moment in the interrogation where it reaches the most painful point. the physical violence. The detective, now increasing the pressure, tries to make Christopher speak directly. Since the grandfather grabbed him, what did he do in response? At first, Christopher deflects with vague "Gramps," but under pressure, he slips. He says that he was told not to let go, and when asked, "Who told you?" he answers, "My past." In other words, he justifies his actions with accumulated hurt, rather than the specific situation. Then he finally admits a key detail. He held his grandfather by the neck. That is already a direct physical hold, potentially choking. But when the detective asks about the knife and strikes, "Did you have a knife? Did you hit him with anything?" Christopher denies everything, claiming he did nothing, even though in reality Rusty was both beaten and stabbed with multiple objects. Here we see a typical pattern. He cautiously admits to some violence, holding the neck, but denies everything that directly constitutes murder: blows, a knife, weapons. And his phrase, "My past told me not to let go," shows that, internally, he sees his actions not as a sudden impulse, but as a built-up, almost justified payback for years of grievances.
How did the blood get in the house? How did it happen? How did the blood get there? Christopher, talk to me, man.
Yeah.
What happened to how the blood get there? How'd that happen? You know what happened, right? Talk to me, man.
I am.
Yeah, but you're not saying anything. You're being really quiet.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm just trying to figure out what happened at the house there so I can know what to do. You know? I don't know what happened. I have to assume things if you don't talk to me. So if something happened in the house to you, you can tell me what happened because you're here. You know, your grandpa's hurt. He can't talk right now. So I don't know what happened to him. Only you do. So I need you to talk to me so I can figure out what happened. You know, I kind of get you guys got into an argument, but how did he get blood all over in the house? How'd that happen? How'd the blood get around the house? What made that happen?
Grip.
It's more than the grip. Something else happened. What else happened? You graduated high school. You know how to use a 3D printer. You're a smart guy. Okay? Don't stand here and sit here like you don't know nothing. Okay? If something happened to the house, I just want to know what the truth is. That's all. You know? If something happened and something went bad, just tell me what it was that caused it, and then I'm going to know. You know, how things went, and it's going to be okay. You know? I can figure this whole thing out. But if you sit there and you don't talk to me, I don't know how to make things better or how to fix this. Okay? I know something happened, and I know you know because you stayed at the house. Let me ask you this: did you go to the store today to get something?
No.
Here, the detective moves to the central question: the blood in the house. He asks several times directly, "How did the blood get in the house? What exactly happened?" Emphasizing that the grandfather can no longer speak, and the only person who knows the truth is Christopher. In response, he gets almost silence and a single word: a hold. It's important to note, a mere hold around the neck cannot explain that amount of blood, which means he is consciously withholding information. The officer tries to push him using gentle pressure, reminds him that he's not stupid, that he knows how to use a 3D printer, that he finished school, and asks him to just tell the truth so we can understand everything, and maybe help you at least somehow. But Christopher continues either to remain silent or to answer incoherently. At this point, the detective realizes that direct pressure isn't working, and he is forced to lower the intensity again and switch to safer, non-threatening questions in an attempt to get Christopher talking by a different route.
Regular.
What?
Regular 3 amount.
Your regular amount?
Yeah.
You didn't take too much?
No, I didn't.
So why are you so tired right now? Why are you acting the way you're acting?
Because I'm tired.
Okay, well, I'm tired too, but I can still talk to you. Why can't you talk to me?
I'm not used to dealing with people.
It's okay, I'm not here to hurt you or nothing. I'm not trying to do anything bad to you. I'm just trying to find out what happened at your house today, that's all. You can talk to me, I'm okay. I haven't done anything mean to you, have I? No. Okay. Do you have a girlfriend? Christopher, you have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Where's she at? Does she live with you? Does your girlfriend live with you there at your house?
Every so often.
All right. Does she live? Where's your house at? Where's she live at?
6. Yeah.
And what's her name?
Haley Couch.
Haley who?
Haley Couch.
Haley Couch?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been going out with her?
For a while.
Really? All
Yeah.
right. When's the last time you talked to her? Did you talk to her today?
Yeah.
Did you tell her what happened at the house? Does she know that you had an argument with your grandpa?
Yeah.
All right. And what did you tell her?
I'm tired of
You told her you were tired?
of 13 with him.
You're tired of what with him?
Tired of threatening him.
You're tired of threatening him?
Yeah.
So why are you threatening him for? Why would you threaten him? What happened to make that?
I'm tired of threatening him.
Okay. Well, why? Why do you threaten him for? You want to rest for a few minutes before I talk some more? Or you want to tell me some more? Because I want to talk to you. Are you feeling okay, besides being tired? All right, hang here, dude. I'll be back.
In this segment, the detective once again tries a soft approach through Christopher's physical state and personal life. First, he asks about the insulin. Was the dose normal or not? Christopher insists everything was as usual. No overdose. He was just tired. The detective applies logical pressure. I'm tired too, but I can speak. Why can't you? And here's in response. I'm not used to dealing with people. In other words, Christopher again drifts away from facts into his own feelings. In response, he gets almost silence and a single word: a hold. It's important to note, a mere hold around the neck cannot explain that amount of blood, which means he is consciously withholding information. The officer tries to push him using gentle pressure, reminds him that he's not stupid, that he knows how to use a 3D printer, that he finished school, and asks him to just tell the truth so we can understand everything and maybe help you at least somehow. But Christopher continues either to remain silent or to answer incoherently. He clearly believes Haley is his ace, the one person who will confirm how difficult things were at home. But at the same time, he already admits that he himself repeatedly made threats toward his grandfather, which means that this key witness for him could end up confirming not just abuse, but also his own aggression. And that casts the story in a very different light from the one Christopher is trying to create.
I really want you to do is just tell Haley to please just try to speak up about this.
Christopher, I cannot reach out to Haley. The public defender can reach out to Haley. If I try to reach out to Haley, she may not even cooperate then with the public defender. We have to make sure that people are going to cooperate.
And they subpoena and force them to.
That's not right. We can't force them to. They'll have to.
Well, the law has to force them to.
Exactly. The law.
That's why we need to subpoena if we have to.
That's why I say I don't want to get into where
you don't want to end up tampering something that wasn't needing to be tampered with.
I am trying to
help
you.
She's trying to wrap her head around what happened, and then she realizes she's got to go talk to them because she's a missing piece.
Right. Right. She'll do what she has to do too. That's exactly
right. Because I
right.
know she loves me. I know she still wants.
Here, Christopher fully reveals what he believes in more than anything: Haley as his salvation. He asks his mother's friend to pass a message to Haley, tell her to talk to the police and explain everything. She calmly explains to him that this cannot be done. It could look like witness tampering, and only a lawyer and the court can contact her legally through proper subpoenas, not personal requests. But Christopher pushes back. He says the law should force her, calls her the missing piece, and is convinced she still loves him and wants him back. As a detective, I see a very typical pattern here. He isn't thinking about what she might actually say. He simply assumes she will automatically be on his side. And at this moment, the puzzle becomes especially cynical. He never managed, or never wanted, to tell the full truth to the police. But in jail, he openly shared the details with another inmate. That cellmate later told investigators that Christopher confessed to killing his grandfather and described exactly how he did it.
Argument where he had pushed him, Christopher pushed Rusty, and Rusty fell back onto the 70-inch TV where it had broke. They wrestled a little bit, and all the items from the room had been pulled down because they were planning on painting the following day. And on the nightstand, Christopher grabbed a wooden cross off of the nightstand and stabbed Rusty with it. And he says that it broke.
Did you say where he stabbed him?
In the side.
Okay.
In the side. And it broke, so he reached up and there was another religious cross that was metal. He grabbed that and tried to stab him. And at that point there, he got up and he looked at his grandfather laying on the ground, and he said, "This has got to end here and now." He says, "I can't take it no more." He goes to the kitchen where he grabs a knife. He comes back and he stabbed Rusty in the neck. And he said, "Gary, I now know what asphyxiation is because I seen air bubbles coming out of his neck." I started becoming biased. I'm like, man, this kid, there's no remorse.
Right.
And he'd already started displaying severe anger issues in the cell.
Was he displaying that as he's reliving this, or was this before, like in just general?
No, this is, he befriended me.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because of my age or just because I was, listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept telling him, "Listen, you need to be quiet. You need to stop."
You were telling him that. Okay.
And after like the fourth or fifth time, I finally said, "Listen, man," I said, "let your attorney handle this." I said, "You're burying yourself. Stop."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Do you want somebody like me at your trial? Because that's what's going to happen when you go to the back." I said, "Some people are going to jump on your case." And he calmed down, and I laid down, and it wasn't 15 minutes later, an 83-year-old man who just got released today come back to him, and he's talking to him at the window, and he's telling him the same thing.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? And that's when I made the conscious decision that, this kid ain't crazy.
Right.
And if I don't do it, somebody else will.
Sure.
So
that's not cool either that he did that in the first place.
No, I broke the law.
Right.
And I've never been arrested that I haven't, except for one time they dropped it.
Okay.
So
right.
I'm just doing what I feel is right.
Here, Christopher essentially confesses to the murder, not to the detective, but to his cellmate, and this time without any of the "I don't remember" claims. According to him, it all started with an argument. He pushed Rusty. Rusty fell onto the large TV. They both went down, and the room was already messy because of the remodeling. Then Christopher grabbed a wooden cross from the nightstand and struck his grandfather in the side. The cross broke. He took a second metal cross and tried to hit him with that as well. After that, he stood up, looked at his grandfather lying there, and decided, this has to end, here and now. He went to the kitchen, took a knife, came back, and stabbed Rusty in the neck, describing how he saw air bubbles coming out of the wound. For investigators, this is critical. He He clearly remembers the sequence of actions and specific details, which means the story about a diabetic fog and memory gaps falls apart. The phrase, "This has to end here and now," shows a deliberate decision, not a momentary outburst. What shocked the cellmate most was the complete lack of remorse, which is why he decided to tell the police, realizing that Christopher was burying himself with these candid descriptions.
The neighbor, who apparently was the painter, was supposed to come at 8. So after he had changed clothes, he went and told the neighbor not to come over because his grandfather didn't feel good. So he came back home. He was trying to decide on what he was going to do with the body. And there was a time span from that day that he just didn't know what he was going to do. So he went back upstairs, and because he's a diabetic, he says he took 300 units of insulin, and he injected himself with insulin. He was going to try to kill himself.
And down there.
Okay, and Maury continued telling me that after the fight, that he saw Rusty, that the only recourse at that point was to claim self-defense. And he said he tried to stab himself in the throat, says he was going to take himself out.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently he didn't have the gonads to do it.
Right.
He did have, and I'm sure they have a picture of it in booking, where in the larynx,
right,
he said he tried to stab himself in the throat. Because he was going to claim, he said he had to claim self-defense after seeing.
So he told you the stab mark in his neck was from him trying to kill himself?
Yes.
Not that he was going to use that as self-defense?
No, he stabbed himself in the throat. His only recourse was to claim self-defense.
Okay. So him trying to kill himself was not that mark on his neck. That's not how he tried to kill himself?
No, he said it is.
Okay.
He said he tried to take himself out.
Right. But then he couldn't do it. So then he switched it around to try to make, are you trying to say he switched it around to make it look like he's in self-defense? Or self-defense totally on another issue?
Correct. Well,
gotcha.
He continued telling me that after the fight and saw Rusty, that his only recourse at that point was to claim self-defense. And he tried to stab himself in the throat. And it should be noted that he has still has a scab. It's minute now, but it was, and now states that he was in a blackout. And has to use and will use his medical issues as a defense.
Okay.
Here, the most important element emerges for understanding the entire case: what happened after the killing, and how Christopher tried to save himself. According to the cellmate, after he killed Rusty, Christopher changed clothes, went to the neighbor, the painter, and personally asked him not to come, saying that his grandfather wasn't feeling well. In other words, he deliberately removed an extra witness from the house. When he returned, he wandered around for a while, unsure what to do with the body, then went upstairs and, already several hours after the murder, injected himself with about 300 units of insulin in an attempt to kill himself. This late injection explains the diabetic blackout at the time of his arrest, but not the moment of the attack, when he was hitting Rusty with the crosses and going to the kitchen for the knife. He was fully conscious and in control. Then comes another key detail. According to the cellmate, Christopher said that his only way out was to claim self-defense. To support that, he tried to strike himself in the throat, creating that very mark on his neck, intending to present it as part of a struggle with his grandfather. At the same time, he was already talking about using the blackout, diabetes, and his diagnoses as a defense strategy. 3 things stand out here: deliberate actions after the murder, canceling the painter's visit, changing clothes, thinking about the body. This is not the behavior of someone in a chaotic diabetic trance. An attempt to stage self-defense and a suicide scenario, including the self-inflicted neck mark. A pre-planned idea to use medical conditions as a legal shield. Together, this looks less like a diabetic blackout and more like a person who, after the killing, is frantically searching for a convenient story and can't decide which version to stick to.
I just don't want to deal with that anymore.
You just don't want to deal with him anymore?
Yeah.
All right. Did you hit your grandpa with something else besides a knife?
In this final fragment, Christopher voices the same idea the whole story began with. I just don't want to deal with him anymore. For the detective, this sounds like the distilled motive, not sudden passion, not self-defense, but exhaustion and irritation pushed to the extreme. When asked directly whether he hit his grandfather with anything besides the knife, he still doesn't give an honest answer. But off-camera, we already know, yes, there were the crosses and the blows. And despite all of this, the interrogation, the staged suicide attempt, the talk about blackouts and self-defense, Christopher, according to witnesses, remains convinced he can get away with it. Here we see a dangerous combination. A stable underlying motive, I'm tired of him, minimal remorse, and a firm belief that any story can be spun in his favor.
He's yelling at me, threatening me in my face, like, listen, look up at me in the eyes. I'm like, I can't. And he's like, well, if you can't work right now because of your back and your physical condition, I don't know what to tell you. He's like, I'm sorry, but I'm fucking moving to New York, goodbye. And he's yelling at me and threatening me, not like grabs, but like, look in the eyes, or I'll just kick your ass out. And you get what I'm saying. So guy was no help. I went back to the house crying. I called Haley's mom. Gramps is pushing me still. She's saying he called the police. I don't want to call the police because of my past. It makes me scared. She's like, let me talk to Gramps. Gramps starts talking to her, tells her stuff. She doesn't know. She's only met him once or twice before. And next thing you know, I'm slammed up against the bed with the rain and everything. What the hell? I really don't want this. I love him still, but I don't at the same time. I've slept here more often, like in the jail, like better sleep than I have in 2 years at my own house. I've slept at Daniel's house for 3 days.
Christopher, listen to me.
Yeah.
I only have 10 more minutes.
I know.
left
What do
with
you need to know? I'm just trying. I know I can get through it, and I know I'll be found safe in the...
In this fragment, Christopher once again retells the story in a way that highlights his own suffering and the supposed cruelty of others. He complains that his uncle yells at him, gets in his face, threatens to kick him out, and he comes home in tears. Then, according to him, his grandfather once again corners him, and the conversation with Haley's mom ends with him being thrown onto the bed. In other words, he again portrays himself as someone everyone pressures and refuses to listen to. But the most revealing part is something else. He says outright that he sleeps better in jail than he did at home during the last 2 years, and insists, I know I'll get through this, and I know that in the end they'll find me not guilty. Even after a second-degree murder conviction and a life sentence, he feels emotionally closer to the inmates than to his own family, and continues to see himself not as a killer, but as someone nobody understood, except those who sit beside him behind bars.